Have you ever caught yourself comparing your life to someone else's and feeling that sting of envy? Do you wonder why their success bothers you, even though deep down you want to be happy for them? What if I told you that envy isn't just an emotion, it's a signal pointing you towards something deeper you need to develop within yourself? Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join this journey of self-improvement. Together, we'll uncover how to break free from jealousy and create a mindset of victory.
1. Defining your higher mission. Envy thrives when we lack direction. When you don't know your purpose, someone else's achievements look like reminders of your own shortcomings. Every promotion, every award, every applause that others receive feels like a personal loss. Not because it truly diminishes you, but because you haven't yet anchored yourself in something greater than external recognition. Without a defined mission, your sense of worth is like a leaf blowing in the wind, always shifting based on who's doing better, who's getting noticed, or who seems ahead. But when you define your higher mission, when you set your eyes on a goal that transcends the noise, envy loses its grip, because you no longer measure yourself against others. You measure yourself against your own unfolding potential. Your mission is bigger than temporary wins. It's about creating a life that reflects your values and deepest goals. Ask yourself, what am I building? What do I want my life to stand for? These questions cut through superficial desires and get to the heart of your essence. For some, the mission may be to raise a strong family, to create art that outlives them, or to serve a cause that uplifts others. For others, it may be the pursuit of wisdom, courage, or mastery in their craft. Whatever it is, clarity of mission transforms envy into irrelevance because the achievements of others no longer feel like threats. They are simply part of their own path. The clearer your mission, the less energy you waste on comparison, and the more you can invest in the pursuit of your true north. Think of it this way: a runner doesn't look sideways during a race. They fix their eyes on the finish line. The moment they begin scanning left or right, their stride weakens, their rhythm breaks, and they lose ground. Life operates much the same way. If your gaze is always turned toward others, what they're doing, what they're earning, how they're being recognized, you weaken your own momentum. Define your finish line and envy becomes irrelevant because you no longer measure yourself against others. You measure yourself against your own unfolding potential. That is the higher mission, not victory over others, but victory over yourself. 2. Practicing daily gratitude. Gratitude is the antidote to envy. Envy says, I lack what they have. Gratitude replies, I already have more than enough. Every time you choose gratitude, you remind yourself of what is already present in your life: your health, your freedom, your relationships, your ability to learn and grow, rather than obsessing over what you lack. Envy creates blindness. It narrows your focus only to what you don't possess. Gratitude restores sight. It widens your perspective so you see the abundance already surrounding you. It shifts your posture from scarcity to sufficiency, from restless craving to steady contentment. In this way, gratitude does not merely soften envy, it dissolves it. Start small. Write down 3 things each day you're thankful for. It could be your health, a supportive friend, the meal on your table, or even something as simple as the breath in your lungs. Many dismiss this practice as trivial, but its power lies in consistency. Over time, this daily act rewires the mind. You begin to notice blessings in places you previously overlooked. You start to see that life is not barren, but overflowing with small miracles. With every entry, you are training your thoughts away from what is missing toward what is given. And when this mindset of abundance takes root, the sharp sting of envy begins to fade, because your attention is no longer consumed by what you don't have. When you train your mind to focus on blessings, the success of others stops feeling like a threat. It becomes proof that good things are possible, even for you. Gratitude reorients the heart so deeply that another person's achievements can spark inspiration rather than resentment. Their growth becomes evidence that growth itself is available. Their abundance becomes a signal that the universe is generous, not stingy. Envy thrives in the belief that life is a zero-sum game, that if others win, you must lose. Gratitude exposes that lie and replaces it with a liberating truth. There is enough for all, and in that truth, you find freedom. 3. Choosing growth over gossip. Envy often pushes us toward gossip. Talking about others' flaws or setbacks might give temporary relief, but it keeps you trapped in negativity. Gossip is envy's disguise. It allows us to mask our own insecurities by cutting others down. Yet the more we indulge in it, the more we poison ourselves. Gossip is cheap comfort, a way to momentarily ease the discomfort of envy without confronting its root cause. But if you step back, you'll see that every time envy arises, it's trying to tell you something about yourself. It's not really about the person you envy, it's about your own unfulfilled desires. When someone's achievement stirs jealousy, it's showing you what you secretly long for. That longing is a compass. The question is, will you follow it or will you waste it in gossip? Instead of gossiping, grow. Growth is the noble alternative to envy. It asks, what skills do I need to develop? What sacrifices must I make? What actions can I take today to move closer to my goals? Every time you redirect envy into action, you turn poison into medicine. If envy says, I wish I had what they have, growth replies, then let me build it for myself. The truth is that envy can become one of your greatest teachers if you listen closely. It points toward areas of potential, highlighting the gaps between your current state and your deeper aspirations. Gossip drains energy. Growth invests it. One keeps you stuck, the other moves you forward. Remember, growth demands action. Gossip only drains your energy. The path of gossip is wide and easy, but it leads nowhere. The path of growth is narrow and difficult, but it leads to transformation. Choosing growth means owning your envy and refusing to let it control you. It means having the humility to admit where you've fallen short, the courage to pursue change, and the discipline to keep showing up. When you do this, you rise above envy, not by suppressing it, but by transmuting it. What once was a source of bitterness becomes fuel for progress, and in that alchemy, you discover freedom. 4. Keeping your focus on the long game. Life isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. Envy comes when we obsess over short-term wins, but a victory mindset sees beyond the present moment. When you live only for immediate results, you invite frustration, jealousy, and disappointment because your progress will always seem too slow compared to someone else's. But when you shift your gaze to the long horizon, every small step becomes meaningful. The long game teaches you to trade instant gratification for lasting fulfillment. Instead of competing with others in fleeting races, you're preparing yourself for a journey that spans a lifetime. And in that perspective, envy loses its power because no one else's timeline dictates your own destiny. Your progress might not look flashy today, but consistency builds greatness. While others chase quick validation, you're building something that will last. Think of the tree that grows deep roots before it ever stretches tall into the sky. That unseen foundation is what makes it unshakable during storms. In the same way, The discipline you practice today, even if unnoticed by others, becomes the groundwork for achievements that will stand strong when short-term victories fade. Many people fall into envy because they compare their early chapters to someone else's highlight reel. But the wise know that the long game is about staying faithful to the process, day after day, with the quiet confidence that steady effort compounds into something extraordinary. The truth is, envy dies when patience and perseverance take root. Long-term focus is your shield against comparison. When you are committed to your journey, the speed of others becomes irrelevant. Their achievements are no longer threats, but signals of what's possible. Instead of resenting their success, you begin to admire it as proof that hard work pays off. The long game transforms envy into inspiration because it reminds you that your story isn't over and every step forward is part of building a legacy. Patience doesn't mean passivity. It means choosing resilience over restlessness, substance over spectacle, and faith in your trajectory rather than despair over someone else's momentary shine. Another reason the long game defeats envy is because it puts life into perspective. Imagine being envious of someone's career milestone today, only to realize 5 years later that your persistence took you beyond where they stopped. Temporary wins look glamorous in the moment, but often they fade just as quickly as they appear. Real success is measured by endurance, adaptability, and sustained growth. When you embrace this mindset, you stop rushing, you stop resenting, and you start seeing your life as an unfolding story where each chapter builds on the last. The finish line isn't tomorrow, it's in the consistency of decades, and that truth gives you the strength to endure without bitterness. In the end, focusing on the long game liberates you from the toxic grip of comparison. It reminds you that your worth isn't determined by speed, but by direction. You may walk slowly, but if you never stop, you will surpass those who burn out chasing instant results. Patience allows you to outlast. Perseverance allows you to outgrow. And focus allows you to outshine without ever having to envy. By keeping your vision rooted in the long horizon, you build a life that's not only successful, but unshakable. And that is the greatest victory mindset of all.
5. Living with integrity and pride. A true victory mindset isn't about beating others. It's about living with integrity and pride in your own path. When you know you've stayed true to your values, envy has no room to grow. The world may applaud or criticize, but neither alters the fact that you are anchored in principles that cannot be shaken. Envy thrives when we measure our lives by external approval, but integrity shifts the focus inward, reminding you that the only standard that matters is the one you set for yourself. Living with integrity means you don't need validation from others because you already carry within you the quiet confidence of knowing you are walking your truth. Integrity means you don't compromise who you are to keep up appearances. It means you can look in the mirror with pride, knowing your success is built on honesty, effort, and authenticity. When you choose shortcuts, envy creeps in because you secretly know your victories are hollow. But when you pursue goals with transparency and hard work, every achievement, big or small, feels real because it reflects your character. Pride in this sense isn't arrogance, it's the healthy dignity of knowing you've lived authentically. You don't need to pretend, you don't need to fake, and you don't need to envy, because you know exactly how your success was built, through principles, patience, and persistence. When you live this way, the achievements of others don't shrink you, they inspire you. Because deep down, you already know. you're building a life worth respecting. Envy often arises from insecurity, but integrity breeds security. You don't fear the progress of others because you are secure in your foundation. Their success reminds you of what's possible without threatening your self-worth. Integrity allows you to admire without comparing, to celebrate without resenting, and to grow without rushing. This is the freedom that comes from pride rooted in authenticity rather than competition. Living with integrity and pride also ensures that your victories last. Success gained dishonorably often collapses under its own weight, but success built with integrity has endurance. It becomes something others can trust, something you can be proud of, and something no one can take away. Envy cannot survive in a heart filled with pride of honest effort because there's no sense of inadequacy when you know you've done the work the right way. Integrity transforms victories into legacies because they are built not just for show, but for substance. At the deepest level, integrity shields your spirit from corrosion. Envy corrodes, comparison corrodes, but integrity purifies. When you hold pride in your path, you rise above the need to measure yourself against anyone else. You understand that you're not in competition with others. You're in alignment with your values. And when your life reflects that alignment, you win the only game that truly matters, the one against your own lesser self. Living with integrity and pride is the highest form of victory because it ensures that no matter where you stand compared to others, you can always stand tall within yourself.
So the victory mindset isn't about avoiding envy. It's about outgrowing it. By defining your mission, practicing gratitude, choosing growth over gossip, focusing on the long game, and living with integrity, you transform envy into fuel for your purpose. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe and share this with someone who might need it today. Remember, your life isn't about being better than others. It's about being better than who you were yesterday. That is the real victory.